Welcome back to Geek Culture 101, your home for all things geek. Today we're teleporting into the retro world of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind for a review. Is it morphinominal, a power flop, or something in between? Grab your morphers and let's find out. I would like to say that going into this game, I had moderately high expectations. It looked like a retro style take on one of my favorite brands, with that classic beat 'em up gameplay we all love so much. Having recently played TMNT Shredder's Revenge, which honestly deserves all the praise it gets, I thought this would be a very similar experience, but with Power Rangers. Unfortunately, it can't rise to the heights of Shredder's Revenge. Let's start with the graphics and settings, or should I say, the lack therefore of. Visually, even while aiming for that vintage look, this game's graphics are terrible. The 90s Power Rangers games likely were graphically superior. There are only a few options where you can add filters, one of which is a CRT filter, though really they don't differ much, and that's it folks. No other graphic setting whatsoever. Just a few filters that are useless. So we end up with a beyond outdated, grainy disappointment. Even then, I could overlook most of that if everything else had been a true credit to the brand, but sadly, I'd be lying if I said it was. Next, let's talk about the controls. I should note that I played mostly via my 8-bit Do controller, which, if you haven't seen it yet, I have a full review for that on this channel. But I love this controller, so keyboard and mouse may differ somewhat, but the controls are horrible and clunky. They go from okay 1 second to almost non-responsive the next. There's no dedicated block button. Instead, use a flip away from an attack, and about 20% of the time, it may actually work to help you avoid damage. However, this also brings us to another issue. In attempting to avoid attacks, I cannot tell you how many times the game randomly sent me flying off a building or into a hole. Even when the designated attacks only work when they want to. You could use certain moves like a sword attack with fire 1 minute and then hit the same thing the next. It only does a useless pose. Where things got truly weird is with the lackluster Zord battles. They start with a running sequence, almost the same course over and over again with slight visual changes. You can jump, shoot, and move sideways or forward. The shooting, you can get power-ups and things for it, but it seems like it should be handled by the right analog stick while left does the movement. Unfortunately, the left controls both, often making for a muddy mess. It's almost painful to target, but that part isn't terrible completely overall, but the Megazord section, which I thought would be amazing, exciting, is even worse. Not only are they overly repetitive, but they are also boring, annoying, and at times, downright frustrating. They truly take what should have been one of the best parts of this game and turn it into the worst part. For the controls of the Megazords, you have a few options for movement, forward, step backwards, dodge left or right, and punching either fist. And if hit enough, a rocket punch that, well, only works when it decides it wants to. As the battle goes on, you can power up the power sword. Matter of fact, fight won't even end until you do. But sometimes if you're hit, you'll lose the build up and have to start over, which is a huge pain. Sometimes the enemy attacks, they don't even require to dodge at all. It's like they're a stormtrooper or something, because at times you'll be walking straight towards them, they'll fire a shot, and it will completely miss you. And then other times it looks like you can dodge one way or the other, The Zord either won't follow the command in time to actually dodge, or it will, but the attack is suddenly coming in a different direction. Other times, you'll be able to rack up punches for a combo, while in other moments, the lackluster response of the controls will leave you lucky to land even one hit. You only get to play as the core 5 Rangers, even after defeating the Green Ranger, until you've completed the story mode. Which, the story uses the idea of Rita from the Once and Always special, escaping to the past and teaming up with Ritas from the other timeline. Yet, there isn't really much else to speak of story-wise. You'll battle some monsters from the series, but there is very little narrative surrounding it. The story mode most likely could be beaten in just a few hours. You'd think they could at least have some very nice voice acting with such minimalistic story as this. Instead, you'll get random spoken words over still images, bunch of text dialogue that has nothing of any significance, or just some random, repetitive, annoying attack sounds. No real dialogue or acting. There are some collectibles and other things to provide an incentive to play more, but honestly, those are sparse and uninspired. The game's difficulty fluctuates, going from mind-numbingly easy to weirdly difficult, and sometimes back and forth within not only the same level, but sometimes within the same screen. Much of this is due to the controls, while some of it is just the game's unbalanced. In conclusion, Rita's Rewind is a lackluster disappointment with horrible graphics, even worse controls, and little motivation to replay it. A game that could have brought the power back to our screens, instead turns out to be even worse than watching Power Rangers Ninja Steel. I give it a 1 Dragon Dagger out of 5. Well, that's it for this review. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like and subscribe button, along with that notification bell so you won't miss a single review or other geek content. Until next time, stay geeky, my friends.